Hello, I am Patrice Bryant, and I'm the host of While We Wait. Our topic today is on what the media is calling the era of the Great Resignation. Let's talk about this whole burnout thing. I'll be chatting it up with my guest, Michelle L. Perry, and she is the founder of Successful Diligence and the author of The Pebble in My Shoe. Take back your power and live in a better way. And we're going to do that right here on While We Wait.
I stay wise. I live hands. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live hands. My life. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live hands. My life. While we wait.
Well, good day to you. I'm Patrice Bryant. Like I said, I am the host of While We Wait. I am so glad you're here. Good day, Facebook. Good day, YouTube. And hello to Patrice Bryant podcast listeners. I hope you have had an amazing day. It has truly been an amazing day. And we are now in autumn and the weather is changing. Oh my goodness. That first touch, I'm in New England. So that first morning when you wake up and you feel that chill, it's like, oh, summer's over. We're here. You're working to figure out what to put on. Do I put on a sweater? And oh yeah, do I put on tights, boots? I don't know. And then it gets warmer and it's New England, so our weather is just all over the place. But anyway, it's still good to be alive, not complaining, just stating the facts. And I'm very happy that I can feel the wonderful seasons and see the wonderful change of seasons. That's actually a good thing. So again, welcome. I'm going to be riding again today with my co-host Michelle L. Perry. Let's bring her out. Hey, Michelle.
Hello, everybody from 89 degrees in sunny Texas.
Oh man, you're showing out.
Not a colorful leaf in sight.
Wow. Well, we're turning that we're turning here in New England, but yeah, I like the warmer weather. But I have to say, this is really the first year, for whatever reason, that I am appreciating the coolness. I love summer. I love the beach. I love my walks on the beach almost every day. But I'm enjoying it. I don't know. Maybe in my maturity, things are just changing. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad. Come on in. Say something in the chat section so I can know that you're here. We want to pull you into the conversation. We're just getting started. So again, we have my writer, Michelle L. Perry, and she is of Successful Diligence, and she is the author of uh, The Pebble in My Shoe. And I went again to the beach, Michelle, and I got another. And again, I said that darn Michelle and the pebble in my shoe.
Can't
Oh
get rid of
goodness.
it. Sometimes there's messages we need, and until we learn it, until we get it, it's going to keep coming around.
It's so funny. That is so funny. So what about last week? Was Francisca Panique? Was she not amazing?
Oh, she was incredible about taking back your power, how to
Yes.
actually do that, things to look for in a coach to help you do that if you're not able to get there on your own. She was amazing. And I'm so excited that she's coming back.
She will be back on next Thursday. I have Miss Tina returning, and she is Tina of the Backup Plan and talking about prepping for your future. She had great information. I am so excited for where she's headed, what she's doing, and the information that she's sharing. And we really do need it. And I keep saying it, I can't say it enough. I know people. While we wait. I know people don't want to talk about,
Preparing and
the
stocking
yeah,
up. And don't get me started because my husband we're not officially preppers, but we are most definitely prepared for whatever is coming, if
yeah.
ever. And what a great follow-up to today's conversation too. That's going to be excellent. So everyone, if you're tuning in today, put it on your calendar right now to tune in next week also.
Absolutely. So next week is Miss Tina, and we're talking about the backup plan. And then the following week, which is the 14th, Francisca Panique will be back, and we'll be talking more about taking your life back. And that's right up Michelle's alley.
Mm-hmm. I love it because it's available to us and you specifically, whoever's watching or listening, if you choose to implement.
Absolutely. I want to give a couple of shout outs, birthday shout outs for today, which is the last day of September. Wow, time's flying.
Wow.
Um, One is to Allison Hobson, who is also a Facebook friend of mine. And she actually is one of my assistants. And also to Albert Lucky Sr., and he is the uncle to my children. So happy birthday, happy life
Happy
day.
birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Yes, yes. And speaking of another year and time really flying, this keeps coming up, but well, you can sense the time is really like, okay, it's October already. So you can actually say it's December already because that's just how fast things
Happy
are
New
happening.
Year.
Thank you. And I said this before because I saw it on the news and then I read, but that the Earth is spinning on the axis a lot faster. So some of that is
Scientifically,
what
yeah.
we're yeah. And I saw that 2020, and I didn't write the numbers down, but 2020 was a year that that the Earth wanted to hurry up and move too. It looked like, So it's just really interesting, and they are talking about doing it's called like a leap millisecond, I believe is what it's called. So I guess to stabilize or so things can kind of balance out. And I don't know, but time is really going fast and you
Whole
can.
other conversation, but how interesting that we always try to fix things, manipulate things, rather than go with the flow of what's actually happening and understanding why and flowing with it. Like, why do we have to add milliseconds and take away milliseconds rather than figuring out, okay, we're spinning faster, time is going faster, what's really going on? But no, we
Sure.
as humans want to take control and do what we got. That's a whole other conversation, though.
We can talk about that too coming up. Absolutely. So today, guys, and again, welcome. Thank you. Facebook, YouTube, thank you for being here live with us. And to our Patrice Bryant's podcast listeners, thank you so much for your listening ear. Today, we're talking about what the media is calling the era of the great resignation. And a lot of it is about burnout. And we want to
Unpack.
explore some different areas of it. It's not a negative. Sometimes we put labels on things, but it's not so much a negative. We can find ourselves, somewhere in there, but we don't have to label it to be a negative because a lot of good things have come out of this time. So let's jump right in. Well, first of all, the media is saying, and you gave this to me, the Great Resignation, also known as the Big Quit, is the ongoing trend of employees voluntarily leaving their jobs from spring 2021 to the present in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So
Yes.
they are saying about 40 to 41% of Americans, I believe it is, if they haven't quit, they are considering it.
Exploring their options. And audience,
Yeah.
if you're on YouTube or Facebook, put a number 1 in the chat, whether it's replay or live. Put a number 1 in the chat if you know someone who has either left their job, switched jobs during the pandemic, someone who's changed their employment status during the pandemic. I'm really interested to know, because I think we all know at least one person that has chosen to deal with whatever comes up for them in the pandemic, to switch jobs, change jobs, just switch over their way of living. And for some people, it's to get more balance. For some people, it's to get better opportunities. For some people, it's finally a pathway of, yay, I get to leave this job I really don't like anyway, because there's so much opportunity. But I would bet that everybody knows at least someone in our 6 degree of separation circle of influence that has taken advantage of this time period and contributes to the era of the Great Resignation.
And speaking of getting your power back, for some people, it was just that, getting your power back. It's like, I don't have to be subject to
the definition of an employer. Like you say, did you know, I just learned this, Brian, that it was Mr. Ford who invented the Model Ford car.
Yeah.
He's the one that, and I can't remember what year it was. Dang it, I saw it. But he invented the 8-hour a week, 5-day a week work week.
I did not know
And
that.
I didn't know that either. And I saw this. I don't know what I was scrolling. So it's not scientific fact, y'all. If you want to fact check me and correct me, that's perfectly fine. But my understanding is that he invented the 8 hour a day, 5 day a week work week, which is really useful for some people. For other people like myself, that is not a helpful work hour, work,
Yeah.
optimal for my effectiveness and efficiency. That doesn't work for me. So work from home, the pandemic was a blessing for me because I
Hmm.
was able to modify how I work and how I get my job done. And so that really worked for me. For other people in my organization, it has been the thing that has enlightened them to, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing burnout, which we're going to talk about. I'm
Right.
experiencing a lack of balance. I need to make a change. And they've either left the company. We've lost more employees this year than we have in the last decade. And for other people, it's a great negotiation and bargaining tool as well.
Yes. Yes. Um, it's just amazing how things turn. Like, and people are making it work. That's the good part of it. Like, okay, so I don't have to be here. I was watching the news, and one lady said, I can't do this. Uh, and she quit. I don't know if she had a plan, but I know she had a family, but she just said, I can't do this. Yeah, for that, realizing priorities, you know.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and you think about your life, we do spend so much time, well, we did in the past, spend so much time in the office. Like we had work families, work mothers, and, just you had a whole family, and then you came home to your family and gave as much energy as you could,
Which
along
was
with
not
your
the
other
best of you.
obligations.
Because
Say it again.
I said it wasn't the best of you. So when you spend the bulk of your waking hours with other people in an environment outside the home, your family, your loved ones, your dogs even are not getting the best of you when you get home, because they're getting the leftover
The
reserves, whatever's
leftovers.
left in your energy battery.
It is true. And in a lot of cases, I mean, I wasn't I'm not at a place, I mean, I'm still there, and I'm not saying it just because I'm employed there, but I enjoy, well, pretty much because I have two different separate locations, and I have the space that I need for me. And, so it's a different kind of environment. But I'm kind of flexible. I don't mind working from home, but because I'm also a caregiver at home, during the pandemic, before we actually officially went back, sometimes I went back because I needed that space. That was my
That
that
separation of
was
roles. Yeah.
my runaway spot, like. So everyone's situation is different, but I think it's amazing because even at restaurants, locally, I'm seeing that they can't. So, for instance, I went to a restaurant the other week, and they said it's going to be a 30-minute wait, and we're looking because it wasn't a lot of people, but the issue was they didn't have enough wait staff.
Hmm.
So this is happening a lot, a lot, a lot.
All over.
Yeah.
Last weekend we were out and about doing things, and we went to a Sonic, which is a fast food place, and
Mhm.
we literally had to wait 30 minutes, and it was just the owner's wife and two other people servicing all of these people. And she
Yep.
said, we're hiring, we're understaffed. I appreciate your patience, bear with us. And we were like, it's fine. We can wait for our food. We're not starving, you know. But yeah, it's incredible what people are choosing. And
Yeah,
I want to highlight that it's a choice,
it
based on
is.
the information that your body gives you, your situation gives you, your environment. You make a choice on what to
Mhm.
do with that information. And that's
So I
what's
just
really
want
key about getting your power.
absolutely. I just want to plug in. Fredette is saying some traditional jobs do not deserve your life energy, get as essence, especially if you are not valued or compensated nor fulfilled. And now that is
Ooh,
absolutely
Fadette,
true.
she gets the gold
Yeah,
star for the comment today. Yes.
exactly. But in so many cases, and now there have been times in my past where that was the case. If you got to go, and as soon as you get to the office, you got a headache because of automatic stress, or your stomach starts feeling funny, or yeah, just it's not a good way to be.
Well,
It's
let's talk about some of the identifiers that you are Because stress is one thing, and stress is not
Mhm.
always bad, but burnout is something beyond stress. And
So
some of
what's
the
so what's
indicators,
stress? Help me with that. Let's tell me about the stress part because you said
well,
it's not all bad. Now, let's talk about the stress
oh
part
yeah, because
first.
like exercise is a form of stress on your body that's not bad because it's
Good
causing
girl.
growth, right?
Yes.
And some stress in your life, like for me, when my husband gives me feedback that I'm not particularly fond of, but it's good for me because it's true, it's helpful, and it's causing me to grow. So it's
Mhm.
stressing me out psychologically because I'm not liking the information, but I can't deny the truth. And so I then have to change and grow or choose what to do with that information, right? So
Mm.
some stress that we put ourselves under or that we find ourselves in is not necessarily quote unquote bad. I don't like bad and good because those are
Yeah.
labels I don't really believe in, but you know, it's either serving you or not serving you. And it goes to burnout when, because you can also have high functioning, long term chronic stress.
So pause right there because we know where we're going with that. Just jumping back over to the comments again. So Fadette is saying that's your body saying no. Constructive stressing. So I would equate that with discipline because when you said about the body, the stress that we put on our body, yeah. So yes, and that is a response to the no, as like Fadette said, that's your body saying no. Yeah, sometimes we do mentally, emotionally, physically. Yeah. So it's
And I
okay.
think
I
the
got
key is
stress
that
now.
you can take that as an indicator, an identifier, and then choose how to respond to it, right?
Mhm.
When you move from stress to chronic high functioning stress, that's when your body starts to break down. High blood pressure, anxiety, sleep disruption. It starts to interfere with the functioning of daily life. So that
Okay.
can be chronic stress, high level stress, and the introduction into burnout, what we call burnout, right?
Okay. So the first stress that we're talking about, that is stress that you can actually use as leverage to better yourself.
It can serve you.
It can
Exactly.
serve you. All right. So we've got that serving stress that we're attaching discipline to because you don't have to like it. Uh, and I'm just processing because I didn't necessarily like getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, going to walk every day, but it was necessary. So that was a form of discipline. That's the stress that I put on myself, my
And it was a
body.
choice. It was a
It
choice.
was absolutely. So now with the chronic stress, that is not a healthy form of
Correct.
stress.
That's when it
Okay.
moves from serving you to this is not the best, most efficient way for your body, your mind, your life to function. So
Yeah.
it's starting to become non-serving. It's starting to become a detriment. It's starting to become more on that negative side of the balance system.
All right. So now let's move into this other section now, because you said one can become a high functioning and keep going.
So I used to be high functioning stress person where I was age 32 and I developed high blood pressure because I was so stressed out. But it was chronic. So I didn't, it was normal for me. It was just what was. I didn't identify it as something atypical. It
Mhm.
was just the fact of life for me, which at that time I didn't recognize was unhealthy. Then I started having those physical health problems. Oh, ding, ding, indicator, this may not be serving you well, right?
Mhm.
And yet I still was unable to choose to make certain changes to my job at that time. I was in the child welfare system at that time.
Sure.
High level, high stress, situations where you're dealing with, people who are all different levels and what have you. And what happened was I moved from chronic stress to burnout.
Hmm.
So burnout is where you've got lack of interest, lack of investment, lack of fatigue. You don't want to get out of bed. So it's not
Mhm.
depression, but it can mimic some anxiety and depression symptoms where you're
Ah,
losing your appetite, you're losing the will to do what you know is good for you. You don't have the energy, you're irritable all the time, you have a negative outlook on things, your
wow.
eating habits, your sleeping habits are poor. Then you're in the burnout realm. It's almost like when the candle gets to the end of the wick gets to the end of the candle.
Mhm.
and it's surrounded by all the liquid candle, but it's still burning and burning and burning.
Sure.
That's you, because you're about to burn out.
Wow. Okay. Now, what's interesting, and I know we talked before about on the way to the high functioning, and I was talking about the extremes, and I was saying, the burnout. You have some people that the high functioning part, and then you have the other end of the spectrum where people like every day they're all like, oh, I'm so stressed out, or I'm so stressed, so
For some people, saying I'm so stressed out and expressing it and processing it outwardly is a way to diffuse it. I think of it as like a balloon where you
mm,
let a little piece of air out of it, and so it diffuses the situation a little bit. For some people,
okay.
that's helping them deal with the stress by saying that. A lot of people, and I'm just going to put this out there, are not really cognizant, aware of the language that they use and
Sure.
how they use it. Now, I love words. I'm a writer. I'm very in tune with language and intentional about my language use. Most people, just in general, are not. And so they'll say things that, if you really take it at the language value, or like, you're like,
Mhm.
do you know what you just said? you know?
Exactly.
And they
True.
really don't. They mean something different. So I
Mm.
think when people are saying, "Oh, I'm so stressed out. I'm burnt out. I'm burning out," they may be stressed, but at burnout level, you're not even verbalizing this stuff. It is
Mm.
so ingrained in your body. You are like beaten down. Is when you're at that burnout level.
Wow. And whether, I don't want anybody to get to that level, even though there are people that do. Um, but it is, and this goes back to taking your power back and living your best life, because you've got to find a way in this life to do things for you. I mean, not, it's not selfish. And I don't want to say me time, but you've got to do something for you.
Well, you've got
And
to
I
take care of yourself in order to function effectively. Like,
yeah,
there's a difference between self-care and being selfish, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I think if we look at it as, if I Jim Rohn, who I love, Jim Rohn, he was Tony Robbins' mentor. For anyone
yes,
who doesn't know, Jim
yes,
Rohn, his stuff is out there. He's great. And he said, I no longer say, I'll take care of you, you take care of me. No, I will take care of me and you take care of you, so that we can walk together and take care of each other. And
yeah,
that's really what it's about. It's about being the best version of yourself, so that you can be of service to others, but also maintain who you are and your purpose for why you're here in the first place.
yeah, yeah. It's just so important, and I say that because when I went on vacation this year, I so desired to go, but I didn't realize how bad I really needed it probably until day two. Because I'm not quick. I'm not one that's quick to say, "Oh, I need a vacation." But I have to tell you, in the vacation, I was like, you know what? I will find time to do something periodically, like whatever that is. You have to, you because it's a form of, I didn't necessarily need the rest, like just the lay down rest. It's more of a, your whole being just relaxes, but also is recharged. And that's what happened for me. I didn't even know. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe, like, you have to condition yourself or recondition yourself even once you go on vacation, because I was saying, oh, I don't, I wanted to get up. I'm like, you don't have to move. You can be still. You don't have a clock to punch. You don't have to be somewhere every couple of hours to do something. So, but you do, that self-care is so very important, and it means something for everybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
because it's
so
different for
maybe,
everybody.
exactly, like you may not physically go away on a vacation, but there is something that you can do, that doesn't cost a lot of money, or you have to find out what that is for you. Honestly, walking at the beach has been a saving grace for me. It's that the openness to be by the water, so that is a self-care for me as much as it is exercise. You just got to find out what is that for me.
And it's
What's going
really,
to.
and it's paying attention to you. And part of self-awareness is paying attention to, how am I responding mentally, physically, emotionally to said stimuli, whether it's a situation, a person, whatever. And so, you on vacation, you were in habit mode, routine mode. You were like, this is what you do. And it took a day or two for your body to be like, oh, wait, this is different. And you paid
Yeah.
attention to that and made a choice. Okay, I'm going to make a change, right? And that's what happened to me is I ended up leaving child welfare because I got to the burnout phase in 2013, and I actually responded to outside someone else telling me, you got to make some changes because this ain't working for me, was what my husband said basically. And I was like, okay, I don't like the package of that message, but let's figure it out if there's any truth to it. And I was horrified by what I found. And so I had to make some choices based on what I was looking at. And that was because I wasn't self-aware. I wasn't paying attention to the signs of dreading going to work every day, not wanting to get out of bed. There's no joy in anything. There's no any energy. There's no motivation, no interest anymore. And all of those are indicators that you need to make a choice, pay attention, and make some changes so that you can get back to who you are, the best version of who you are. And why are you here anyway? What are you supposed to do? Because that's the second best day of your life, when you're born and when you figure out why.
Okay. I'm looking at for that is one of the things she said about the chronic stress. There are no rewards in that chronic unproductive stress. That's enough right there to make me like, oh, there's no reward here.
What's the
I'm good.
incentive? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no benefit. There's no benefit.
She also said normalizing destruction. That's sometimes
We
that's
need
something
to have Fredette come on.
yeah, exactly. So
But yes, you're
definitely-
absolutely correct. Yeah.
that is
And stress and burnout can devastate a person, a family, and a life situation. A lot of things can be avoided if we pay attention to those signs and make choices that will serve us versus continuing in that negative loop and that cycle.
Yeah. I was just thinking, even with those that are contemplating, and also those that have already quit their jobs. And there is something else to look up, people, is that there is a correct way to quit your job, because you just don't know.
It's always best to quit a job when you have a job.
Exactly.
Because you don't know the market. And yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people hiring. But I'll tell you, Brian, in 2013, when I realized the state of burnout I was in, for the first time in my life, and I've been working since I was about 9 to 12 years old, babysitting, and then working in jobs from there. So I was in my mid 30s, and I quit for the first time. I quit my job without having another job. It was a leap of faith. And I put me first, and I prioritized my health, my mental health, my physical health, my marriage. I put that first. And I said, I'll figure it out. God, I'm a believer. So I was like, okay, God, let's walk it out together. Okay. And literally within 2 weeks, the job that I'm in and have been in for 8 years, that has been serving the kind of life that I want to create, I found it in 2 weeks. So, sometimes.
But that is over here giving you that's giving you the rah. She's saying, Michelle, I understand. And then she put hello. She said, girl, she fully understands.
Yes. But wisdom is what Brian said. Don't quit the job till you have something lined up, or even an entrepreneurial, effort. There's ways to get financing out there. There's ways to build businesses, but be intentional with your choices.
True. What I was going to say was, I was just thinking more on the how you quit, and I'm not even talking about having something lined up. What I'm looking at is, this is a very small world. So even if you have your own business, you never know who you're going to run into that may be an influence to someone else. So it's just always good. I mean, it doesn't mean that, you got to be best bosom buddies, but it's just always good to have that integrity and to do it properly, because you just don't know. You
never burn a bridge.
You don't know. That's it. Don't burn the bridge, bow out properly. Again, we don't have to agree, but at least they'll have to say, I don't like her, but her standard, whatever, she's professional. That's what you want.
What am I saying? Live a life so that when people say something bad about you, nobody will believe it.
That's good.
And
And
that, to
what
me,
does
that's
that mean?
integrity. That's walking in the confident integrity of yourself. Live in such a way that even when people say bad things about you, nobody will believe it because they know that's not your character.
That's really good. That's really good. That said, leave with recommendations. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
listen, do your homework, do your homework. Because I'm certain well, I don't know. I was going to say everybody, doesn't like you, but that might not be true. But anyway, use your strengths for you. Use your strengths for you.
Yes.
Um, just the word resignation just kind of like keeps highlighting to me because you can resign from so many things in life. Um,
That's true. And people are resigning from being overworked and underpaid. People are resigning from a lack of work life balance. People are resigning from a life where they are tied to work
yeah,
in one specific place forever. And that's a great resignation, to resign from those things that are not serving you, that are not the life you want to live, but have a plan, be intentional, right?
yeah,
Use
yeah,
wisdom.
yeah. Yes, you did for that. She said she did. Yes, she left with recommendations from people in high places. I
I
know
know
your
that's right.
works. I know your works. So yes. Well, I could keep going because I'm just looking. There's just so many ways to flip this, but believe we have the understanding of the stress versus the chronic stress uh, versus the burnout.
Hmm.
And as we say almost every week, help is not a bad word, and you don't even have to be in a stressful place to get help. Like I'm looking at a coach. I was just telling Michelle before we came out, one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, be strong, be wise, keep enhancing your life. I'm just sharing with you all. All of these people, including Michelle, that I'm meeting that are sharing all of this information. This is not just stuff that I'm not just doing something just to do it. Like I really am analyzing and assessing and
And
looking to see what
implementing, you're
can
actually walking it out.
yeah, so I'm looking at some other things to assist me. So it's not help is not a bad word. And if you would really take a good look at you, I just matter of fact with Francisca Peneke, I took her, I did her checklist, her assessment, and it was fun. It gets you to thinking, and I like the way she did it because she didn't just say do it from 1 to 5, least to the most, but then she also asked a question which made you think even more. So, for those that were on last week, if you go to her YouTube or forgive me, Instagram, Francisca Peneke, I will. I'll put it back on my page again. But if you go to her and send her a DM requesting her assessment, you'll probably enjoy it. It was really good. I was like, wow. And it was good for me because I know myself. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. And I'm real with myself. Sometimes when we take assessments, we put down what we want to be as opposed to where we are right now. And you
Mhm.
can't grow that way. You have to be totally honest. So anyway,
Unapologetically truthful with yourself.
yeah,
Otherwise, who else are you going to be truthful with? I wanted to say something.
sure.
I have a podcast as well, so it's called the Successful Diligence Podcast. And season 2, which was last year, 2020, I did a whole series on the word success. What
Hmm.
is success? It must have been like, I don't know, 10, 12 episodes with different guests talking about what is success? What does it mean? What is this word? And what I've come to realize after years of researching success and, understanding success, if you look at every single successful person, whatever the definition of success for you is, every one of those people did not get to successful by themselves. They did not get there alone. They got help, they got wisdom, there was coaches. I mean, every industry, every arena, every successful person
Mhm.
did get help, assistance. They did not get there alone. And that in and of itself is wisdom for us. We're not
True.
supposed to do it alone. Mic drop.
Yeah, yeah. So since you put all of that out there, let me just Put the pebble in my shoe. Take back your power and live in a better way by Mrs. Michelle L. Perry. And she is the lady right here. You can get it on Amazon and tell me the rest because I always say Amazon and you tell me that there's more.
Yeah, Amazon is the best place, easiest place to get it, or you can go to successfuldiligence.com and you can get a signed copy if that's something that you want. But Amazon is the easiest way.
Awesome, awesome.
And
Well,
the
guys,
audiobook is coming 2022 for those who like to listen to books. So pray for
I
me.
do. I do. I definitely do. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for your time, and I love it when you come on with me. It just makes my job so much easier.
We have the best conversation. I love being on this show, whether I am co-hosting, or guesting, whatever, just to be in your presence and to chat with you, because I think the level of conversation that you have and the information that you give out and the people you promote, there's such good knowledge and wisdom nuggets. And everyone listening, everyone watching, I promise you, if you go back and with a notebook in your hand and write down things that come up in every single episode every week,
Because
your
I do.
life will be enhanced and elevated, and I promise you it'll be different for the good. So I love being here. I love this platform, and it's always such an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. That's it, guys. We're going to wrap it up right here. So we have talked about this era of the Great Resignation, the Big Quit, as they call it. We've talked about stress that gives you rewards that you don't have to like, but it's going to work for your good. And then we talked about the chronic stress that's not good. There are no rewards. And we also talked about burnout. And we say, if you need help, get help. You cannot go it alone, even on the road to success. As Michelle stated, every successful person had someone there. There was help. There was someone to give a direction. So yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel because somebody has maybe what they're doing is a little different, but the methodology will still work for you. So thank you so much, Michelle. And I pray you keep riding with me because this is wonderful.
I'm here, ride or die. You got, hey, whenever I'm called, I'm here. I love it. Your audience is the best. Second to my audience, of course, but no, I love it. I love it. And I think you need to have Fidette on again because she's got so much wisdom to.
She really does. She does. I work to get her on as much as possible. So I'm going to ask her when's the next time. Maybe she'll come on with you and Francisca.
Ooh, that would be a fun conversation. Yes.
Right, Fidette? Perhaps she'll come on. I'll see if
Fans are requesting.
I'll see if I can work on her. Next week, we have Tina coming back with the backup plan, preparing for your future. It's part 2. And then the following week, Francisca will be back on. And I know on the 28th, I've got Lun Jordan. I don't know if you saw who he was. He was on the Midnight Motivation with Dr. C.L.
Yes.
King. And he's going to be talking about, he is the CEO of Sketched Publishing. He's the author of Sketched by Design, Discover Your Unique Design in the 21st Century Marketplace. He's a content creator, a speaker, and an author. So he's going to be on with us on the 28th. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland in the house.
And when is CL coming back on?
I don't know. Let me go work on him too.
Mm-hmm. Fans are requesting CL.
I will let him know. I'm certain he'll do it for me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Fidette said, y'all know I like the background. I'm going to still see if she'll come on with Francisca. I think it will be a great conversation.
Yeah.
As always. But thank you, Fidette, for your support. Thank you, YouTubers. Thank you, Facebookers. And thank you to the Arpatrice Bryant podcast listeners. I'm so glad that you're here. And I hope that you will be strong, be wise, and keep enhancing your life. Why? Because life is worth living while we wait. See you next time. Bye, Michelle.
I stay wise. I let hands. I stay strong. I stay wise. I let